These aphids on my broad beans are still here, but luckily a couple of days have passed and these guys here have discovered them too, and I think they're even laying eggs. They're certainly making eggs. Look, I think they're certainly laying eggs too. I'm pretty sure those yellow eggs on the left are ladybird eggs. Now these guys are harlequin beetles as opposed to native ladybirds, and they were an introduced pest control from Asia. Very hungry, and they eat everything, including our native ladybird grubs. But anyway, that's unfortunately they're here now, and we're going to have to deal with that. So there we go, a bit of natural pest control in action. But I have taken the precaution of putting some ant poison under that bucket, because there's several red ant nests here very close to my loofah gourds, and in fact pretty much underneath where this sweet corn is planted. So I'm hoping they'll go in there and find it, and it's in a sealed container. I'm hoping they'll go in there and find it and they'll be eliminated. I've also put one under that net where the other big red ant nest was. After buying the poison, it did say the target species was black ants. Black ants aren't really such a problem. Well, they are a problem, but they're not such a big problem. So there's a little gel trap there, nothing else can really get into it. I'll put it right on top of the nest there. Hopefully they'll come out. Won't be able to help themselves, and I really don't want to have red ants biting me every time I come to the garden. Fingers crossed. And this ladybird here, let me just zoom in and focus, is a British native 7-spot ladybird. I don't know how you tell the gender apart, but he or she, whatever it is, has got 3 spots on each wing case and 1 just behind the head there. So that's a British native, always good to see. Okay, so that's it's a bindweed and the volunteer potatoes and the other bits of perennial weed coming out. Just been over with that hoe as well and just sliced off some of the top weeds. And we're going to think about now planting the sweet corn. And my goodness, the sweet corn has really come on in the last week. This is desperately time to get it in the ground now. The tomatoes I planted the other week, they've actually mostly sprouted, doing pretty well. I'm sure they'll catch up. Melons here, this one's a melon, and peppers are all starting to take off. And back in that bed is my huge pumpkin. That needs to get in the ground as well. In fact, we've had another. This is what pumpkins do, see if we can see in here. This one here looked like it had failed, but it hasn't. It's just very late to germinate. And the same with one of the loofahs, actually, I can see. So yes, that's what they do. They kind of spread their germination out. But anyway, those sweet corn need to get in the ground, and we'll do that now. And this is other stuff that needs a bit of water. These are the first seeds we planted this year. They need to get out and about as well. So don't know whether we'll do this all in one video, but let's try and get these in the ground. Okay, so these are the sweet corn plants to go in. I think there's about 104 here. Now then, along this side of the bed here, this side of the allotment, this is the side that was heavily manured and everything else. It was a lot of straw in the manure, obviously, and it made it quite difficult. Normally I would use a draw hoe to make a furrow, take these plants out, lay them in, fill it back in, job done. The straw made it quite difficult to do that. So I've laboriously dug a load of little holes, which is not the optimal way of doing it. It's taken quite a long time, and there certainly are easier ways. But so I've done 18 rows by 18 by 6. It's 108, I think 108. I think I've got about 104 plants. So we'll see how we get on. It does beg the question where on earth I'm going to put the pumpkins and the brassicas. But anyway, sweet corn is what I was really going for this year. I want to do a lot of sweet corn. I may have done a few more than was strictly necessary. Anyway, this is the measuring stick. It's 19 inches long. The holes are all about 19 inches apart. It's about 480 millimeters. So they're sort of 19-inch centres, more or less. And yeah, let's get this planted. I'll start doing it and I'll speed up a little bit, and then I'll bring you back when I'm done. Okay, so these trays now will just split open, and hopefully they'll give us a nice root ball. There you go. That wasn't very well, was it? So there we go, got a nice root ball, and just lift those out, pop them in the hole, give them a good water, fill them back in, everything will be golden. There we go, you just pop it in the middle of the hole, fill it in either side, put a bit of a squidge, and later we'll hill it up and go into the actual cultivation in the next video, I think. Okay, there we go, as if by magic, 100 sweet corn plants planted in this big bed. So you can hopefully understand why I opted to do them in root trainers and grow them from seed. Well, just grow them from seed, that's the only way to do it. But in root trainers rather than direct sowing. Because out of 130 seeds, I had 120 after I eliminated all the ones that were broken and chopped up. I then planted those 120 and I got 100 that made it to this size. These should now, hopefully, now they're in the ground, grow into full-size plants. But I've avoided predation by mice and squirrels and birds by direct sowing them. I've avoided the really wet weather and cold soil we had in May. And I've given them a good head start, and in effect I'm a month ahead of if I direct sowed them now with all the problems of mice and birds and squirrels. So what we're doing from now on is we'll let them grow. As they get bigger, there's lots of nitrogen in this soil, so they're going to grow really quickly. They're in this square because they're wind pollinated. Well, not a square, but 16 by 6 rows. The wind will blow through, as you can see them spraying now. They'll spread the pollen around. We'll get a nice crop, hopefully. And as we go on, if they start to look like they're not quite green enough, they want to be a really verdant green, full of nitrogen to keep going. So we'll hill them with the draw hoe as we go through the season. We might side dress with some more of that 20-10-10, the high nitrogen fertiliser. Really, these should have a good head start now, and planting them quite deep, so they kind of in effect they've been hilled up once already. I'm going to quickly go through and water them now, and that will be the end of this exciting episode of planting sweet corn. So anyway, if you watched this far and you've enjoyed yourself, maybe you've learned something, you want to ask a question, comment below, maybe you could consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, helps me out, helps me grow the channel, and puts a smile on my face. Okay, so till the next time when we work out what we're going to do with all those brassicas, I'm going to quickly plant some pumpkins actually at the end while I've got some space now, but that is ostensibly the end of the day. Bye bye, see you later.